After having built this frame, we can now take a look at how can we create the pieces that go inside there. Planning everything out helps actually to know how big all these elements should be. In the end, we have cubical spaces, which are 13 by 13 inches big. So the way I'm going to show you how to model this is also how I, for example, as a designer would start planning proportionally, dimensionally, build everything. So logically, the next step would be now to define the open spaces. And I will represent them first basic via some cubes. Each cube should be 13 inches. There, very good. Let's go to move this up, move this over, and move this down. So the cube sits kind of like in that corner there. Very good. I need a copy of this, so Shift D, and then if you want to use this command, you see we can move this freely around a little bit. Again, when I press Control, snap to that corner. But you see this cube moves around three-dimensionally. Check this out. If I want to only move this up along the Z-axis, or the X or the Y, I can press the corresponding key. So Z is for Z-axis, X is for X-axis, or Y is for Y-axis. So Z, then I go to this corner, hold the Control key, left mouse button, click, and you see it snaps to there. So this is one way how to do this. I press X and delete this cube, go to here, Shift D, and then I don't want this to move to anywhere, so I press Escape. The thing with Shift D is you make a copy and you paste it and you instantly in move command. If we don't want this, then press Escape and it stops moving. Now I can just click on this and hold Control, release the mouse key. There we are. Very good. Okay, well, wasn't too complicated. So the distance between these two cubes is actually 1 inch. So 13 by 13 is 26. Then we have 1.5, 1.5, which is 3. We can, however, measure also something. So use the measure command. It's very easy to use. Left mouse button, click and drag, and then hold your Control key onto an edge or point. I go to corner, then I go here to this corner and hold Control and snap. Release the left mouse key. See, 1 inch. I can via the delete key also delete it. Let's do this one more time and maybe zoom in a little bit, then it's a tick easier. So with the measure command, left mouse button, click and drag, hold the Control key, release the left mouse button. Left mouse button, click and drag, hold the Control key, release the left mouse button, release the Control key. You see the key sequences are very often the same. So 1 inch. Press delete. There we are. Good. Then we can go to select box, zoom out a little bit, and now we know exactly what the height is. So 1 inch. We can select one cube, Control C, Control V, and then the height we set to Z1, and then Y we set to 15. There you see now how this is actually a little bit inside. That is correct. If we want this to be flush, 15.5, because this object should be then the same like this. Okay, we want to move this down into this corner. Move move this down, hold the control key. There we are. Perfect. And then shift, left mouse button, click these two cubes, and we can delete them. So this was one very easy way to, via pure geometry, to figure out the midpoint of where this cube would be. There are obviously also other methods to do. In this case, as an introduction, I just tried to show you how to do this in a very rudimentary way. Inside here, now we need to have a vertical object. So what we will do is we will press Shift D, make a copy, and press Escape. We can move this a little bit to there. Now the X direction we want to be 1 inch. And the height direction should fit in here. So this is 30 inches. This is 1.5, 1.5, 3 inches. So 30 minus 3, 27. This is Z, Z, 27. Fits perfectly. And then click on there, Control, release the mouse, release Control. There we are. Okay. How do we continue? 2 ways. The labor-intensive way I show you first, and then the more smarter way. So we have both objects selected. We go Object and say Duplicate Linked. Again, the main reason for why linked is all these are repetitive objects. So if I change one object, the others will be changed too, or otherwise duplicate object. So duplicate linked. We are in move command again, but I want to slide this only along the x-axis to the right side. So I press X. See, when I hold control key, you see where it snaps. That's not good. So I go to here, left mouse button, click, and with the transform turned on, move, hold control, go to there. I can select all 4 now. Duplicate linked, press escape, go over to here, move this back. There we are. Oh, what do we see? So our initial frame is actually a tick too, maybe too big or so, or is it? Let's see. So this panel here we don't need, so we can press select it and press X and say delete object, and oh, actually it fits in. Very good. Okay. So in case it would not have fit, then this plate we would have simply moved, and then here we would have gotten into edit mode, selected all these edge points and adjusted them. But luckily in our case we don't have to. Very good. So I mentioned the more labor intensive and the more smart way. So this is actually more labor intensive. So we will select all those 5 elements, press X and press delete. We select this one, and then we can call this maybe insert small, and we select this and write in insert big or tall. Also here onto scene, we click, right click, new collection. Let's call this inserts, and then this we drag in there. This is how easy it is to organize our design. This object is 13 inches. This is 1 inch. So this one needs to be moved 14 inches to the right. Let's go to modifiers. Add modifier and array. You see the icon looks like multiple copies. That's what an array is. X is correct, but we don't want relative offset. We want constant offset. Along X, go by 40, not 40, 14 inches. Okay. Something doesn't look right here, as you can see. Let's turn this off one more time. Let's measure 13 plus 1. Okay, the numbers are right, but the result is not. I make this mistake here on purpose, just to point something out, because this is very unique to objects or modelers that work with object information. We scaled this cube at the beginning. We set all these dimensions here. Look here, we have something called scale. So this object is a scale model. If I would set this back to 1, that's how big this object is in reality. Let's undo. So what I want to do is reset the scale factor to 1 so that dimensions are the same. I mean, reset the scale to 1 while keeping the dimensions the same. Let me do one more thing to explain something. I go into edit mode, select these 2 points, then I go to overlay and say, show me the edge length. Look at that, 24 inches is this edge measured. But in object mode, it tells me 13. And that's because it's scaled. When I go to object and apply scale, you will use this command quite a lot. Now this is all 1. You see the numbers stay the same. We go edit. Whoa, 13. So we kind of baked it. Very good. Now this means if I turn this on, it, copies correctly. Suck, suck, there. Super. So we know, okay, here is a scale factor. Apply scale, and this has to go over by 14.2. So array, not relative, constant by 14 inches, 3 times. There we are. Pretty cool, no? So we created all these extra elements via an interactive modeling feature. So this is actually a very big time saver. Right now, this is a very basic example, but again, we're just at the beginning, class 2 of the semester. You will see over time how powerful all these various modeling modifiers or commands will be.